Hey, writers, I hope that you all have been prospering in your purpose and dominating in your destiny. It's Coach Takumbo here with another Writing Wings episode. And in this episode, we are going to discuss the first major stage of writing a book, a devotional, what have you, and it is pre-writing. I want you to type in the comments, hashtag pre-write. I'm excited about this, but before I jump in, I want you to go ahead and like this video already because it's going to be great and it's going to have practical information for you to use immediately, for you to implement like right now. Okay, so go ahead and like this. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, please make sure you go ahead and you hit that subscribe button as well. We would love to make sure that you receive those notifications about our new episodes and our new encouragement videos for you as you journey as a creative. All right, now that we got that out of the way, we are going to discuss pre-writing, and I'm really big on coaching people to make sure that they are implementing and they're participating in the pre-writing stage, because when I have read books as an editor, when I go back and I read these people's books, I read people's books and I'm like, oh my gosh, if it's disorganized, if it's disoriented, it's all over the place. I find out that these authors have not pre-written, they have not participated in the pre-writing stage of writing their book. And it's evident because it's just so disorganized. And so one of the reasons why I teach, I coach people to pre-write is because it's going to help you later on down the road. It's going to help you when it's time to write the book. It's going to help you when it's time to edit the book. It's going to help you when it's time to market the book. And when it's time to market the book, it's going to help you immensely because you put in the effort in the beginning to make sure that everything was super organized. And so let's get into it. These are some of the components that you need to be mindful of, and you need to be intentional about writing out before you just jump into the thicket of a writing assignment. And I've had issues too, where I've had to go back, and this is why I teach it, because it's super frustrating, even as an author, as a creative, when I don't do the pre-writing stage. I found out how frustrating it is for me on the latter half of it because I didn't take the time on the front end to pre-write. Let's get into it. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to narrow down your topic. You're going to be very clear about your message and your area of expertise. You're going to be very clear about the central message that you want to convey in this one book, this one devotional, this one writing assignment. Because what happens is, if you are super creative and you have all these ideas, you know that you're a multiple author, that you have many books inside of you, sometimes you can get so many different messages in one book and it gets really confusing. How do I know this? Because I edit people's books and I see that I'm like, wow, you have a lot of different competing thoughts here, competing themes here, and it looks like you probably just need to write another book, but I'm not understanding really what the central message is and what your topic is in this book. And so sometimes we can have way too many ideas and it's overwhelming for the reader, and you're not able to properly convey your message, or your message is just all over the place and it's disorganized, and therefore your reader is not able to navigate successfully through your manuscript. And so we don't want to frustrate the reader, and you don't want to be frustrated as well. And also, I tell people this, that when you're very clear about this topic, when it's time to sell the book, when it's time to market the book and share about the book, you're going to have that central message, that central tagline. Create a one sentence tagline that explains what this book is about, so that when you're marketing, when you're sharing about this book, you are on podcasts, you are talking about this book, it is very clear to people what it is that you are trying to express. It's very clear to your audience that you were very specific about your topic. You had a specific burden that was put on you, and you were able to write out a book that spoke directly to that central topic. So number one, you're going to narrow your topic. You're going to be very clear about what the message is, the central theme of this book is. You need to write that out before you jump into just writing a book. The next thing that you need to do, where I see a lot of writers are not intentional about this, is they are not intentional about the audience that they have in mind. Who is this book for? Your book cannot be for every single person. I know that you are called to a lot of people, but for this specific writing assignment for the topic that you chose. Who are you talking to? Who is your target audience? If you're not clear about your target audience, you're not going to be very clear about the language that you're able to use, the jargon, the dialect that you're able to use, the writing style that you're able to use is going to be dependent upon your audience. So if you know that you're talking to a specific audience, you know that you're talking to younger people, or you're talking to a certain generation, you know the lingo, you know the slang, you know the terminology that that group is used to. And so you write from that place. And again, this is going to help you when it's time to market your book. It's going to help you because now you're only speaking directly to that target audience, and you're not all over the place. Your marketing is super focused. Even, I mean, if you've ever ran a Facebook ad, a social media ad, they even tell you, they even share with you, hey, who is this for? Where should we be targeting this ad? What type of people are you trying to target? Who is your avatar? Who is the person that you have in mind when you wrote this book, or when you put this ad together? And so if they're even telling you to do that, how much more so do you need to do that in your book? Because again, I know that you're super talented. I know you're multi-talented. I know you have all these people that you're called to, but I'm going to set you free really quickly. I'm going to help you talk to that audience in a different book. Get to those people in a different book. For this book is this audience. You can't talk to 10, 30, 50 million people. Be very specific. In this book, I am talking to young mothers who need encouragement when their children are under 10 years old. That's very specific. In this book, I am talking to men of faith who want to bolster their prayer life. That's very specific. And your writing, your marketing is going to be very specific because you were intentional during the pre-writing stage. And you're going to be successful when you're writing the book, because you're going to speak, you're going to have that avatar in your mind, and you're going to begin to speak to that person as if they're in the room, and they're going to be able to connect with you because you had that person in mind the entire time that you're writing. The next thing that you need to be very clear about is your why for writing this book. One of the things that we see with people is that they do not follow through on their writing assignment because their why is not bigger than them. They have no bigger picture here, because your book should be a generational impacting book. It should be something that you want to transform generations. And so you have to have something that's bigger than you, because you're going to want to quit. You're going to desire to not finish this book because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's too hard. But when it's not about you, when you see a bigger picture in mind, when you have a deeper why, when you have a deeper value of why you're writing this book, you're going to be more successful. You're going to be more focused. You're going to follow through on your writing assignment because you've written out your why. I wrote this book because I don't want other mothers to feel stuck and not recognize the gifts that they have. And when their children are not in the home anymore and then they have nothing to do. I wrote this book because I wanted to heal a generation of women. I wanted to heal a generation of daughters. I wanted to heal a generation of fathers and sons. What is the why? What is your mission statement? Because again, you're going to actually be able to write much more clear. It's going to be clear when you're writing because you're going to tackle that why throughout the entire book. And again, it's going to help you to have that motivation, to keep that momentum as you are navigating through writing and getting this book out of your system. So what is the mission behind this book? I wrote this book because I know that I'm going to be able to, there's going to be a nation of women, a nation of men, a nation of children, a nation of believers, a DNA of people that are going to be transformed forever because of XYZ. You have to sit with yourself and write that out before you start writing, because that's going to help you again to be able to come up even with better content as you are flowing. Are you going to use this book beyond just writing a book? Are you going to do a workshop? What is a bigger mission, a bigger picture here? The next thing here, when you are pre-writing, you have to be very clear about what your writing style is going to be in this book. When I talk about your writing style, we can talk about several different things. Number one, we're talking about we're talking about what genre is this book. So you need to be very clear about if this is an autobiography, if this is a fantasy, if this is a nonfiction book, because depending on the genre, that's going to impact how you write. It's going to impact if you're going to be formal or if you're going to be informal, or you're going to be conversational, or you're going to have to be super formal. You have to decide based on the genre, based on your style and who your audience is. That's why I started off with audience, because if you know that your audience is going to receive a more of a conversational style, then you're going to talk to your audience with a conversational style. And so you need to begin to choose, okay, I know that I'm writing a super formal book. I want to be formal. I want to be straight laced because I know my audience is a group of professionals, or it's more of a textbook type of feel. And so I'm going to be super professional. I'm going to use all these huge vocab words, and that fits my style. That's unique to me. And I'm going to be able to stick with that style throughout the entire book. I'm going to be consistent, because here's the thing. I want you to be consistent throughout the entire book. Some books that I read, when I'm editing, they don't have a consistent writing style. In one chapter, they were formal and super spiritual. Then the next one, it was conversational. And then the next chapter is doing this, is doing that. And they did not have a theme. They did not think through what my writing style would be throughout this book and how it can be cohesive based on this writing style. You need to own it. If you want to be informal, if you want to use slang, you can, if that is what your audience is used to, and they're going to be able to connect with you. You have to embrace your authentic voice and your idiosyncrasies, and embrace your difference, and embrace who God has called you to be, and be consistent throughout the entire text. Do not switch up. You did this in your pre-writing, and you were very sure that this was going to be a book that was going to be more conversational, or a book that was going to be more formal, or have more vocab words and definitions, because I'm trying to, there's a message, or there's a why behind why I'm doing this, right? Because you wrote your why beforehand. And then the next part of the writing style is you need to be very clear on if you're going to write in first person, which is the I, we, us, and keep that consistent throughout the text. Because what I see people do is they start writing these books, and all of a sudden they're in first person, they're in second person, they're in third person, they're here, they're there. And in certain chapters, you can switch up your pronoun usage, but you just need to be very cognizant that in chapters or paragraphs that you're switching up your pronoun. So do you want this to be more of a we, us, I, me book? Do you want to talk from that angle? Or do you want this to be more of an instructional? Most of the time when it's like instructions and those recipe books, and like you're giving out instructions to people, you mostly will probably use the words like you, your, and use those type of words throughout that pronoun throughout the entire writing. Or do you want to write in third person, the they, them, their? Do you want to write in that, from that vantage point, from that perspective? You need to be very clear about this before you start writing the book. All right. I want you all to make sure that you're coming to our Unlock Your Devotional webinar, because we are going to discuss the 3 major stages of writing a devotional. And I'm going to give more tools on what you need to do in the pre-writing stage that is going to unlock your devotional. Because once you have mastered pre-writing, it actually gives you the momentum, it gives you the fire, it makes you more ardent about finishing your writing assignment. How do I know this? Because I know this for myself, that when I have a roadmap, my pre-writing stage is really my roadmap, and it's going to help me to be consistent, and it's going to help me to be focused throughout my writing time, throughout the writing window that I've given myself. And so during the Unlock Your Devotional webinar, we're going to talk to you about how to get this devotional out in 30 days or less. If you have a blueprint, if you have a strategy, and you understand the 3 major stages of writing a devotional, there is no reason why your devotional should not be done in 30 days or less. You need a strategy. You have a brilliant idea. Matter of fact, you have plenty ideas. You have plethora of ideas. And now you need to figure out how to organize, how to structure those ideas. So come to the Unlock Your Devotional webinar, and we're going to give you those practical tools, those strategies. I'm going to give you my 3T blueprint on drafting a devotional. And then if you are in the VIP class, you're going to get 5 hours total, where you're going to have that 1 hour of accountability, our writing hall, where you're going to have real time writing time. And hopefully you're going to get at least 5 to 10 pages done in that hour with your coach in the room. And when you get stuck, you're going to be able to ask questions in real time and get feedback in real time. So holding you accountable to actually get stuff started, to actually get your outline started. Then we're going to hold you accountable to we're going to walk you through the process of getting your devotional into an ebook, so that you can have the tools to go ahead and publish your ebook immediately and not sit on your idea. In 2024, you said that you wanted to become an author. In 2024, you said that you wanted to produce a devotional. And so we're going to give you a strategy. I'm going to show you on my computer. I'm going to walk you through how to get your book on Canva and how to turn it instantly into an ebook, so that you can immediately begin to sell that or share that with your audience. Even if you want to just give it as a free tool for something, you're going to be able to get that in the VIP session only. And VIP is the only group of people that are getting the Unlock Your Devotional workbook, the digital workbook. You're going to get that with your registration as well. And then you're also going to be able to keep the replay. So if you miss it and you want to replay it after we're done, you can do that. Or if you want to go back and look at the notes and look at what we taught you, you can go back and keep that and walk yourself through the video as well. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the Unlock Your Devotional webinar. It's going to happen at the end of June. And so I want you to make sure that you head over to takumbothe.leader.com so that you can receive all of the details, find out what time, find out the dates, find out what you're going to be learning. My classes are jam-packed. And so we're probably going to go over more things than what's on the website. And we are going to, if you're in VIP, we're also going to talk about marketing your book as well, because I've seen that as a big disconnect, is that people don't have tools to market their book. So we'll be talking about that during the VIP session only. All right. So again, we talked about pre-writing in this video, and I have more to share during the devotional webinar, but this is one of the most important stages. You should not skip this part of writing your books, writing your devotionals. You need to make sure that you have a very specific topic. You've narrowed down your topic. You're clear about that message that you want to convey in this book. You have a central theme. You're very clear about your audience. You know who your avatar is. You know who your target audience is. You're clear about your why, your mission statement for writing this book. What is going to keep you motivated? Who are the people? What's the bigger picture here? What's going to happen for your life? What's going to happen for your family's life? What's going to happen for other people's lives if you finish writing this book? And then lastly, what is your writing style? You need to embrace your authenticity. You need to figure out how you're going to be consistent, how your voice is going to be consistent throughout the entire time that you are writing. I hope that this video helped you. I hope that this video is inspiring you to follow through on your writing assignments. If it did, go ahead and like this video. Go ahead, leave some comments. I would love to hear some feedback to see if this helped you on your writing journey. I'm going to leave a great legacy in writing with y'all later. Let's continue to build those iconic dreams, and love you like a leader. I will see you in the next Writing Wings video.